Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin. You have found a Flosstube channel called Stitch, Read, Repeat, channel all about cross stitch. Welcome, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming back if you came back, and if you're just new, thank you for joining me. I'm excited that you're here and hope that you see something that inspires you today. I've been gone for a little while. I said that I'd be back sometime before Thanksgiving, and here we are the weekend before, but I made it. It's been a whirlwind of a couple weeks, so I hope you're ready to settle in, grab a beverage, grab some stitching, do like I do and watch this while you're doing chores, whatever it is. I hope that you find some inspiration in what I have to share today. I'm going to try to keep it fairly organized, but there's some things that'll just have to come in as they come in. And we'll go from there. So first of all, I have a finished object. I finished stitching on something. Really excited about this one. This chart is called Scarlett's Christmas Sampler, and it was stitched on a 36 count linen from Lakeside called Vintage Pearl Barley. And here she is. So you can see there that I made some changes at the bottom. I put my own name in and the year. The chart had some pretend year from the 1800s. It's not perfect. My French knots are a little wonky, but I really like how it turned out. It's sweet and small. I love Christmas. It's got some over one in it. It's got some Smyrna crosses. It's got some satin stitch. A really fun chart by Chessie and me. Again, Scarlett's Christmas Sampler by Chessie and me. And I did this with all the fancy floss that was recommended, and I really do like how the different flosses allow for different variegation, especially in the door in the house there. So I hope to get this one framed. I think it'll be a sweet little frame and hang it on the wall in the wintertime. It's not terribly Christmas. It says Christmas, but I think I could have it stay up for a little bit longer. So that is my one finish for this episode. I was hoping to have another, as you'll see here shortly. But I just didn't, and that's okay. I've enjoyed everything I've been stitching, and I hope you will too. So moving right on to works in progress. Some of these have some hanging threads, so prepare yourselves. The first one is called Mighty Fortress, and this is from Heartstring Samplery, part of her Sunday Stitches series. I don't believe she sells these individually anymore. I think she sells them all in her book that she put out. They're all hymns from church, and I really enjoyed this one. So I'm doing this on a 32 count limestone even weave. I don't know the dyer, but here is where I'm at. So I'm doing this 2/2, and you can see I've started on that bottom floral section and just about done. So hopefully by the next time you see me, this will be wrapped up and finished. This was actually the first project I ever did over 2, or on something that wasn't Ada, I should say. And so learning how to count and do that, I can tell, I've come a long way. So it's been really fun. It feels a little bulky after I've done so much or stitching with one thread lately on higher count fabrics, but I do like how it looks. I think it's a nice size, and I don't think this fabric's showing up very well, but it's just barely green, and I really like that. So this is a Mighty Fortress by Heartstring Samplery. I've got piles everywhere, guys. This is a episode today. Okay. The next one is one of those that I don't know why I thought that I could finish this so quickly. It's a lot of stitching. Beautiful stitching, and I'm loving every minute of it, but it's been a lot. And so yeah, we're not anywhere close to being done, but that's all right. So this is coming out of Teresa Kogut's Let Love Rain book. Excuse my frog in my throat. I just can't seem to get rid of him. She's got a number of projects in here. She's got a little pillow and a small sampler, and then a large band style sampler. And I am doing just the middle section of the large sampler. I'm doing this on a 36 count linen in the color Iced Violet from number 12 Stitch Co. with all of the called for flosses. So it's all DMC except for this green that's in these vines and leaves right here. That's Weeks Dye Works Oscar, which is, I think, maybe one of my favorite greens ever. It just has so much shading and variegation in it. It's really, really pretty. So like I said, this is a lot of stitching. Those flowers are solid. A lot of counting, making sure everything is matching up. There's some room to have a little, you know, fudging or wiggle room if you need to. And the other thing I've noticed is that because it's a book and there's so much kind of back and forth across pages and making sure you're in the same spot, that's taken me a little extra time, which isn't a problem, but it's not as fast as if it was all on one page. So I'm really liking this. I'm past the middle now. This pot has some more flowers in it. That's the very middle. And then it's not mirrored, but it's similar on the other side. So really liking how this is coming across. The purple adds a nice touch, complements the green, and this has been really fun. So those are all of the works in progress that I can show you. I am also just wrapping up work on the piece for our Sampler Guild's holiday exchange. We do an exchange. I'm part of the Delaware Valley Historic Sampler Guild, and next month we'll be doing an exchange. It's not Christmas themed, it's not holiday themed, it has to be sampler themed or sampler related, and have the guild's initials and our initials and the date on it. So people have done all kinds of projects. I'm really excited about mine, and hoping that whoever receives it will be excited about it as well. And so I'm going to work on getting that finished, the stitching finished, and then also doing the fully finishing of that item, having that ready, and then I'm going to video just a short little clip that I'll save for the next time I come back to Flosstube so that you can see it and understand what it is and how it works. But really excited about that and excited to show you in the next episode. So I said I've had a lot going on. I've actually been to 2 retreats since you last saw me. I first went to Sweater Weather, as Colleen says. This is hosted by Colleen of Rebel Stitcher Designs. She hosts it in Philadelphia, which is not too far from me. I missed the date to cancel my registration, and there were some things that had come up in my personal life, so I was only able to attend one day, which was a bummer. But I was happy to be able to be there for the one day, and I'm hoping, you know, depending on how things work out next year, I could go every day. It's a 3-day retreat, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's drivable for me, so I don't have the cost of the hotel, which is nice. Colleen put on a great retreat. She had a nice swag bag that everyone got when they got there. She had door prizes. She had a little shopping area, and then it was just a beautifully well-lit room, looked out over the water, really kind of low-key retreat. People were really friendly, and I just had a really nice time. So a couple highlights from that. Like I said, Colleen, Rebel Stitcher, she's the one that hosts it. She and her partner and her kids. She even brought her dogs, which was really fun. She raises funds for a local charity that supports animals and families that have needs, taking care of their animals. So that was neat. Let's see what else. She had a great shopping area. I did purchase a few things and I wanted to show you what those were. So I love her needle minders, and so she gave everyone in the swag bag this little tiny dog in this Halloween sweater vest, which I think is hilarious. So this is one. And then I also really like pigs, and so she had one that was a pig flying, which I thought was really cute. So I got that one as well. And then, let's see, I picked up a few of her charts because I figured if I'm going to be there, I should do that. I've looked at this one for a long time. It's called Civil Samplers, and I just think that it is a great chart. And the one that draws me the most is never be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. And I think anymore, sometimes that's needed. So these are great charts. She had all of her models there, and that was really fun to see. And then I also picked up this sweet sampler, Louisa Fletcher 1860. My daughter's name is Louisa, and so it's fun to see these old samplers that were stitched by Louisa's. And so I'll stitch this, you know, eventually for her. or in honor, you know, of her. Just fun to have her name. And as she grows, she's starting to recognize letters in her name. And so when I showed her this, she said, "Oh, that's L for Louisa." And I said, "Yeah, that's right." So really sweet design. I also picked up, she had some fabric there. This is an Under the Sea in the color Beach Walk. And I don't know if you're going to get an accurate, I'm not very good at showing fabric yet. It's kind of a, it's not brown, it's more cool, it's cooler than that, kind of a purpley undertone. I thought I could use it for that sampler, and it's neutral enough. I think I could use it for something else too. So I was able to pick up some fabric. And then Lynn Dorney of Lynn X Stitch Creates, she sells project bags, and so she had bags there. I love Lynn's bags. So this one is all fall themed. It's got this really sweet fabric that's got foxes and hedgehogs and leaves, pine cones, and then the inside is just a bunch of words and alphabets, but it's all fall themed. So picked up one of Lynn's bags as well. Let's see. Oh, so part of the swag bags and stuff that you got, everyone also received a small candle called, in the scent that's named Sweater Weather. And this is actually from a new, well, she's not new, but it's from a woman named Jen who has a shop called Floss and Flame, where she sells cross-stitch items and candles. And so she made these little candles for us. It smells great. But the exciting news is that Jen actually opened a local needlework shop in Dover, Delaware, which is about an hour from me. And so I got to meet her when I was in Philly and learn about her shop. And then just last weekend or the weekend before, she had her grand opening. And so I was able to go down there and support her and see her. So I like her candles. I'm actually burning one right now. And then she also, in her shop, she sells project bags. I picked one up when I was down there last weekend. These are made by a friend of hers, really well made. The inside's just neutral, but a nice size project bag. She has Weeks Dye Works floss, Classic Colorworks floss, DMC, and she's working on adding more as she grows. She's got fabric and she's got patterns, and then she has her candles. So I think people were surprised by that mix, but it's kind of nice. She's got a space for candles and a space for cross stitch, and who knows, she might get some new cross stitchers because of her shop. So if you're around Delaware, I encourage you to go check it out. Like I said, she's just starting, and I think it's helpful that we support these small businesses as they get going and ensure that they're able to grow and be there for us. She seems very open to if you have a suggestion or you need something, she's happy to help you with that. And I've really enjoyed my time speaking with her, and I look forward to getting to know her more. So Jen, congratulations. And like I said, that's called Floss and Flame, and she's in Dover, Delaware. And let's see, so back to the Sweater Weather retreat. I got to sit at a wonderful table with a woman that I knew from a local stitching group that I'm in. So Sally invited me to sit with them, and then I was also there with Lindsay and Karen, and then Thomasina and Mike. So it was really nice to meet all of you, get to know you a little bit more. Thomasina made these cute little, they're like pin cushions, but they've also got these little pockets on the side. It's got a little ring you could hook something to. It's just really sweet. And I mean, I love chocolate, so happy Halloween to me. But Thomasina gave everyone one of these. And then, like I said, Colleen had door prizes, and I won a door prize. So I won a project bag, which I need more project bags? No, but I love project bags. So this is sweaters on it. And then the back has this really nice, like knit style print. So excited to have a new project bag for my stash. Okay, so then next, let's see. So Sweater Weather was really fun. Colleen, congratulations on a great retreat. I had a really nice time, and I met some really, really wonderful people. Autumn of Abundance. So that was next. I went to the attic in Mesa, Arizona, right outside of Phoenix, for the first weekend in November. I was there. I got there Well, I left here on Thursday, hoping to get there on Thursday. I got there way early Friday morning. Spent 9 hours on an airplane. My flight was supposed to go through Chicago Midway and then on to Phoenix. And it was one of those where I stayed on the plane and people got off and then new people got on because I was through from Philly. And when we got to Chicago, the plane was having radio issues. And so it took them an extra, I want to say almost 3 hours to fix that. And of course, those of us on the plane can't get off the plane. So we were just hanging out. I got a lot of stitching done, and I attribute my earlier finish to that extra long layover in Chicago. So I made it to Phoenix. I was exhausted, but the hotel was great. We stayed, it was a Hilton Garden Inn, I believe. Fancier than where I normally stay, but it was fun. And was excited to be at the attic for this event. I'm going to just kind of walk through what the event looked like. There was so much that happened, so much that went on. There's pieces of it that I'll just leave to those that were there, but I will say that if you ever have the chance, it was really a wonderful retreat. It was really a bucket list item for me, and I'm so grateful that I was fortunate to be there, meet so many wonderful people. I sat at a lovely table with 4 women, all from Arizona. They adopted me as an Arizonan that weekend. So to Carla and Julie, Angie, and Renee, thank you so much for including me and inviting me. I really had a great weekend with all of you girls. So I woke up Friday. Phoenix is 2 hours behind the Eastern time zone right now. And so, of course, I was up way early local time. So I ended up going to the attic Friday morning just to look around, see what it was. You know, when you're there, you have to go. And it was everything people say it is. It was very overwhelming. I kind of made a lap around the shop just looking first. There's models everywhere you can see. You know, that's my favorite part of a cross-stitch store, is to look at all of the models, because they really do represent the stitching so much better than a picture almost ever can. So they had plenty of fabric available. You know, the attic is known for their silk conversion, so you had all the flosses that you could ever want. Beautiful things. You know, they don't just sell samplers there, which I think sometimes people have a misconception. There were all kinds of wonderful things, little holiday pieces, lots of different designers, pieces I'd never seen before. I really had a good time. So I picked up a few things, and I'll talk about that in a little while, but was there Friday, and then I came back to the hotel and took a nap in preparation for Friday night. So Friday night we got there, found our seats. Those girls let me sit at their table so kindly. I didn't know anybody going in, which for me is fine. I love to meet new people, love to, you know, I put on my brave face and walk in. I know for some people that's intimidating, but for me, in a space like a cross-stitching space where I know we all have a shared interest, I'm okay. So the first thing we did was we registered, and then they gave us all our first gift, which was so sweet. We all got project bags made by Goose Designs using Teresa Koget's Christmas fabric. So the snowmen and the trees, and then on the back it's just like words of Christmas. So I love Goose bags and was excited to receive this. And then that evening was a talk from Linda from Chessie and Me, and she and another stitcher from, I want to say, Minnesota, had a really beautiful story about this antique sampler. And needless to say, it just reminded me of the importance for all of us to have plans for our stitching, have plans for our stash. If you're like me, your family probably doesn't understand the love you have for cross stitch and also the value of the items that you have. We know what out of print charts can go for on the market. We know how much these linens cost. We know how much fibers can cost. You know, silks can be pricey if you have a lot of those. We know those things, right? And our friends that stitch know those things, but our family often doesn't. And so her story just reminded me of the importance of making a plan. I joke with the guild that, you know, I wrote it in that they would get everything when I go. But you know, I've seen it where folks have given everything to a cross-stitch store to help them sell, or whatever that looks like. Not to be morbid, but I think it's important. So anyway, all that to say, this stitcher had found some antique samplers in a thrift shop, and they were really antique samplers, and she got them for a steal. And so she reached out to Linda of Chessie and Me and asked her if she could reproduce it. So Kathy, her name is Kathy, Kathy brought the antique with her to the retreat, and then Linda had her stitched model. And so that was really neat to see two samplers side by side. But this is the Eliza Guy 1845 sampler, and she is large and in charge. It's very large. It's like 200 and some stitches by 200 and some stitches. It's a big piece. But it's really, really beautiful, and it's got a nice verse on it, a big house with a fence, some deer, you know, all the typical sampler style things. But it was neat to hear Linda talk. I like Linda's things. I haven't stitched a lot of her things. The piece that I just finished was actually the first, but I have quite a few pieces in my stash. She stitches all of her models, which I think is amazing. It's incredible. And I look forward to stitching more of her pieces. So I did get a start on this this piece that night. And the thing that I like about Linda with Chessie and Me is that she includes specialty stitches. And so I got to learn, I'd never done a 4-sided stitch before, and so I got to learn that. So this is my start. Very top left corner, that's where I typically start. And you can see this line above the D and the letter D itself are 4-sided stitch. So you back stitch, is it focusing? You back stitch around the square, and so it's made up of all these little squares. So I just wanted to get some practice in doing that and get a start, because now I have a reason to pick it up, and it's not daunting to, oh gosh, I gotta start it and figure out and count and do all the things. It's already going, so I can just keep working on it. This will be a long-term project. But Linda gave us this. She gave us the linen and the flosses, and she also gave us a sweet little corner gauge that has Chessie, which is her cat. So that was Friday evening. Really a fun start, an exciting start. Was so excited to see what happened on Saturday. So we had dinner on Friday night, and then we also had Saturday morning, they provided breakfast and lunch, and then dinner on Saturday was more of a charcuterie style wine bar, relaxed kind of snacky dinner, which was fine. And then Sunday they also provided breakfast and lunch. So really kind of an all-encompassing retreat. But Saturday morning, got up, had breakfast, went in, and Teresa Kogut was presenting all day on Saturday. But before Teresa presented, Amy of Mrs. Flossie walked around and gifted all of us with this chart, the Autumn Abundance Spool. And this came with the linen and the spool. So I just need to get some threads, but this was our gift of the day. It's really, really beautiful, and that was so sweet. And then, like I said, Teresa was presenting. So in the morning, Teresa talked about her project, her cross-stitch project, which was another antique sampler. And so she told the story of this sampler. She started collecting antique samplers and has dreams to reproduce them. But this was her first sampler that she had converted to silk, and she had asked Jean to do that conversion, Jean from the attic. And so it was special that this is what she presented. So her sampler was called Teach My Heart, and this is what it looks like. So we received the linen, which is a fox and rabbit linen, and the silks for this chart. And so I got to start on this one. And that the color is really, it kind of almost ghosts into the linen. And if you watch Teresa's latest Flosstube about the attic experience and she shows the antique, it does the same. So it's neat that she copied that. But the blue is really, really beautiful, and I look forward to starting this one. This one's not as large, and so I think it'll come together rather quickly. But I remember seeing, I think, Teresa stitching this and thinking, I hope that I can stitch that one day. So then when she presented it, I was very excited. it's one of those samplers that is not colors I would have picked. I tend to go for the pinks and the reds. But the blue is really, really nice. And it coordinated nicely with Linda from Chessie and Me from the night before, which was not planned. So then we had lunch. Oh, before lunch, actually. Teresa also, because she's awesome, provided us with a Biscornu chart. And so she used aspects from the sampler and made a Biscornu. And this was done on My Favorite Jeans by Wabi Sabi Linens, which is Teresa Vinette kitten stitcher. But you could do it on any fabric. And so there's a Biscornu chart as well that she gave us. She had also given us this really sweet project bag that was based on the sampler. And then she gave us some note cards that also have this image printed on them. So it was really a comprehensive package all around this antique. Then in the afternoon, she actually taught punch needle, which I was super excited about. And unfortunately, there were some shipping delays with the Morgan hoops that are used for punch needles. So, of course, the attic got them after we all left, so I need to call and order mine. But she walked around from table to table and taught us how to thread our needles and gave us an opportunity to see how she punches. She also gave really comprehensive written instructions and a link to her video instruction. So I do look forward to trying that. But this was the chart that she gave us for punching. It's based on the sampler. It's not exact, but she said it's straightforward enough and should be a good kind of first start. So I look forward to trying this and seeing what it's all about. If I gain a new hobby, great. And if I don't, that's okay too. So like I said, that night was the charcuterie and the wine. Oh, and then they did a, what's the word? A show and tell kind of situation where we all got to put finishes up on the table, and then we walked around and we talked about what we had done. And so there was amazing talent in that room. Really fun to see what people have been working on. Small pieces, big pieces, really, really neat. So that was fun. I put my Chessie and Me piece up there, and then I also put up the sampler that I had finished at StitchCon earlier this year in Twined Hearts. So both of those are going to go to the framer here before the end of the year. So I look forward to getting those finally fully finished and hung on the wall. Okay, so then Sunday, sadly, was the last day, and Sunday was all about heartstring samplery. So not only was Beth Twist there, who is, we all know her, she designs beautiful cross stitch, but her husband Matt was also there, who has the boardroom, and so they gave a joint presentation about their work, and it was really amazing to hear about their process, and Matt really went into a lot of detail about what he does and how he does it, and it's neat to see how they're able to partner together and provide great things in this space. So before they presented, we got one more gift on Sunday. It was just gift after gift after gift. I'm going to leave this in the box, but it's just a little keychain, and it says, "Where samplers rule, autumn of abundance." So that was sweet. I'll probably hook this to a project bag or something, maybe to the one with Chessie and Me in it, so I can look at it and as I work on that project for a long time. So Beth talked a lot about a sampler reproduction that she had done. Susanna Boyd, I believe is the name. And she talked about her love of the trees. And if you look at Beth's work and you can kind of infer that she likes nature. She does a lot of really beautiful pieces with animals and woodland creatures. And she lives in the Pacific Northwest. It all kind of comes together. And so she talked about this sampler, what drew her to it, how she reproduced it. And then she talked about the project she gave us, which was a needle roll, which was based on the sampler that her antique sampler she has. So this is called Joyful Woods Sewing Roll. And the quote on the front is from William Blake, "The green woods laugh with the voice of joy," which is really sweet. She talked about the new phenomenon of forest bathing which you might have heard of, where they say that there's biomes and things in the forest that if you could just go outside and walk around, it can really boost, you know, your spirit, your energy. People talk about touching grass. You know, I think that there's something to be said for nature. So I appreciated what she had to say. And I got a small start on this project as well. So we were given the choice of 36 or 40 count. I picked up a piece of 40. And this fabric actually is called Miss Crescent's Crown. And it's fabric dyed by the person who used to dye when it was Crescent Colorworks. Now it's Classic Colorworks, but she's now dyeing fabric. It's very enjoyable to work on, and I just got a small start that Sunday morning. And then after Beth gave her talk, then Matt got up and talked about his process and what he does, and I learned a lot that I didn't know. And I learned actually that everything that they're selling from the boardroom is coming from trees off of their property, which is amazing. And they maintain their forest and they manage their space. And so he had worked with Jean. You can tell that the Twists and Jean have a very close relationship. And he created this really beautiful box for us. So it's got this stag inside. He put some mother of pearl butterflies in there, and then also a magnet up here in the corner. It's not very deep, but it's a really sweet box, and I look forward to using it in my stitching area. I was really, really touched by this, and I think that it's a really nice addition. So that was really fun and special to get to meet both of them and hear their story. So those were all of the projects from Autumn of Abundance. I also, like I said, I sat with 4 really great ladies and a couple gifts from the table that I wanted to just point out because I thought they were clever. Well, one was especially clever. So Angie had gone to World Market and found these little pumpkins, and then she found these little counting pins or decorative pins, and so everybody got a pumpkin, which was so cute. So thank you, Angie. And then Julie had made she designs just a few things, and so she had given out this chart to everyone in the room, which was so nice. And then Carla was there, and she was passing out project bags from someone who couldn't be there, who knew all of these ladies at my table, so I benefited from that. And so I got another project bag, fall themed. It's got leaves on the inside and then these pumpkins on the outside. So I am blessed in project bags right now. But that was really fun. Just, you know, at retreats, people walk around. There were many more little trinkets and gifts that were given, candies, all those good things. So that was that. I did end up going back to the attic on Sunday after we had lunch. Renee was nice enough to take me over. I just wanted to do one more walk around. I ended up kitting up a large sampler from the Scarlet Letter called Dorothy Walpole. If you know samplers, that one seems to be fairly well known, and I plan to start that in the new year. I also kitted up another sampler that I had been looking to start soon, and so I've got that done with my things as well. And I do plan to have a video coming up next month to talk about my plans for 2025, so you'll hear more about those projects then. The attic was great. The staff was wonderful. I got to meet Nan, who moved to Delaware a long time ago, lived here, raised her family here, and now has moved back to Arizona. It was funny to meet her, small world kind of thing, and when I got back here, I found out a lot of my friends here know Nan. So, Nan, if you're watching, thank you so much for your help. It was so nice to meet you. Everything everyone says about Jean from the attic is true. She was so gracious. She was able to attend in short bursts of time. She, you know, making sure she stays healthy as she walks through her current situation. But she was so gracious and wonderful to every stitcher. I got to speak with her briefly, take a photo with her. She's created a really great system there, and hopefully one day I can go back to another retreat. I'll have to save my pennies, I think, but it was really fun and I had a really great time. So if you've made it this far, we're almost done. Purchases. So besides all of this other stuff going on, I have made a few purchases because I have. Some of them are actually, well, one of them is a long time ago I made the purchase and I finally received it. And this is from the Homespun Needlework group that is on Facebook. You might have heard about that. They do exclusive projects. You have to join the Facebook group, and then there's exclusive projects throughout the year. The woman who runs the group partners with a designer and a shop, and they put together kits, and then you buy the kit. The thing to remember is that it's a pre-order, and so you don't get it right away. And so in this case, it was 2 or 3 months after, but that's okay. So I ended up finally getting the Simple Gifts spool by Jeanette Douglas. And so you got all of the things to make this. Here's the stitched piece. And then we also received the spool. So it's got holes for scissors and all of the extra stuff that you would need to stitch it. So I'm really looking forward to doing this project next year because our Sampler Guild picks a designer of the year every year, and next year they chose Jeanette Douglas. And so there's no special anything for doing that, but it's fun. People kind of focus on that person. They maybe stitch a few extra projects, and then we do a slideshow where you get to see everything everyone made. So that will be fun to do and finish and add to that show. I also, like I said, I've gone to Floss and Flame in Dover and picked up, it's so nice to have a shop that's local. When I'm down there for work, I popped in on Friday or Thursday and I needed 2 colors of floss. And so I just picked them up. That was great. So I look forward to seeing Jen more. Like I said, she's got candles and cross stitch things. So check her out if you haven't already. So then we talk about plans. So like I said, I need to finish my piece for the Guild Exchange. My stitching is like 98% done. I just got a few extra things I need to finish up and then put it together, fully finish it. So I'll do that. And that meeting is the 2nd Saturday in December. So that's coming right up around the corner. I've got some gift stitching to do, a couple pieces for Christmas, and then a couple other pieces that I'm looking ahead and wanting to get a start on just so I'm not scrambling. And then the Jingle Ball is coming up. So that's the first weekend in December. And that's an event hosted by Lindy Stitches, Stephanie Webb of Lindy Stitches. She invites 11 other designers to join her, and they have a great event. If you haven't heard about it already, I encourage you to check out their Instagram or their website. She's got classes, there will be entertainment, there will be, speed dating, where you get to talk to other stitchers. There's chat rooms. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, and you can be as social or as antisocial as you want. It's $10 to get in for the whole weekend. It's a steal. And there's exclusive shopping if you have a ticket. So I encourage you to check that out if you haven't. I am doing 2 different classes, and this year they offered the option of PDF only classes where you purchase the PDF and then you get the materials to kit it yourself, which has been fun. So I am doing a class with Jeanette Douglas about specialty stitches, which I'm excited about. And then also Beth Twist Heartstring Samplery has it's a wall tart, but I'm just going to do the stitching and watch her finish the wall tart and then decide if that's what I want to do or if I want to go a different direction. But the chart was really beautiful, so I've got that ready to go. I need to do some pre-stitching for that. And then, of course, Thanksgiving is next week, so I'm cooking the whole thing. I always have fun doing that, and it's fun memories with my daughter, and so yeah, looking forward to that and being thankful for all we have. So those are my plans. And then lastly, I talk about books at the end. So if you'd like to stay for that, please do. If not, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Hopefully I didn't talk too much about all the different things I did and where I went and all I did, but thank you for tuning in. If you're here for books, it was a slower month for me. I have noticed that sometimes I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's depression. I don't know if it's ADHD. I don't know. But there's months where I read like crazy, and then there's months where I'm just like, yeah, I'll read, but it's not like I'm flying like I sometimes do. So anyway, this month was slower. Not bad. but just slower. And so that's okay. I got a lot of stitching done because I was working towards finishes, and I think that's also part of it. Is a lot of these books that I finished were reading with my eyes and not with my ears, so I can only do reading or cross stitch. I can't do both. So you know, when time is limited, that's what you get. But I did read a few books this past month that I wanted to share with you. So the first one I read, I'll put a picture on the screen, was Stanley Tucci's new memoir. He called it What I Ate in 1 Year. That's exactly what it is. January 1st, I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Of course, Stanley Tucci is eating much better than that. But it really reminded me of when Facebook first came out. And my dad always said, I don't care what you ate for lunch. I don't need to see a picture. That was kind of what it was. Stanley talked about a lot of other things, and it was really interesting to hear about his life through his food and as he traveled. But I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed his previous memoir called Taste. So take from that what you will, but it was a fun read, and he read it himself on the audio, which was also very enjoyable. I had book club earlier this week, and we read The Museum of Failures, and this is by, I'm going to butcher this, Thriti Umrigar, I think is how you say that, Thriti Umrigar. It tells the story of a gentleman who returns home to India, hoping to adopt a baby, and in the midst of that, he learns a lot about his family and his past. It was a really, really beautiful book. I would highly recommend it. Our book club loved it. There was one member who wished that it had a trigger warning for special needs children. So that's something to keep in mind if that's something that is you're extra sensitive to. You might want to just be prepared for that. But if not, or if that's something that you want to explore more, I would encourage you to check this one out. I think it was written in 2023, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4-star, and was happy to discuss it. We are actually fortunate. One of our book club members is from India. She's been in the States now for over 30 years, and so she really related to some of the experiences of the gentleman in this book. And so it was neat to hear her firsthand experience and learn from her some cultural things, and I love to do that when, you know, someone has a real experience related to what you're reading about, even if it's fiction. I learned so much more. So this was great. I would recommend this one. Another book that I'm about halfway through is called On Pluto, Inside the Mind of Alzheimer's. This is by Greg O'Brien. I checked this one out from the library. The work that I do is with caregivers and dementia resources and services across the state. And so I'm very interested in Alzheimer's and the Alzheimer's experience. I have lived experience with Alzheimer's. I've had 2 grandparents pass from that. And this book is written by Mr. O'Brien, who he was a journalist, I believe, and he started recording in real time his experience with Alzheimer's. So as it goes, it gets more and more fragmented, maybe. And it's like firsthand data, right? There's so much about this disease we don't understand, but this has been very interesting to read and learn about. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I would encourage this one. So I checked it out from the library just because it was something that I didn't need on my shelf forever, but wanted to read. And then I just started listening to, like, I'm maybe 30 minutes in, to The Empress of Cook County, and this is by Elizabeth Bass Parman. I'll put a picture on the screen. It is set in I want to say the 60s. The audiobook narrator is very Southern, and so it's fun to hear her do the voices. I have no idea where it's going. I just started it, so we'll see what happens, but I thought I'd put that out there. I'd heard about it on a podcast and thought it sounded interesting. So it's a very vague description, but you can check that out if you think that you might want to look into something like that. It's got a lot of good reviews, and we'll see what happens. So that's what I got. You made it. My phone says 45 minutes, but I've got to edit a few things, so it's a little bit longer, but not too much longer than normal. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your sweet comments, for coming back and checking me out. I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and that you're able to spend time with those that you love. Family, chosen family, friends, whoever that is. And that if you're not able to go somewhere, that you're able to spend some time being, introspective about what you might have to be thankful for. And, maybe you can connect virtually with someone. We've got a lot to be thankful for and a lot to work on right now. So I'll just leave you with that. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in December.